Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Iqra Hafeez and you're watching Desi TV USA. Let's have a look at the news. President Joe Biden said that the US will not provide the F-16 fighter jets that Ukraine has sought in its battle against Russia, as Kyiv planned to push for Western fourth-generation fighter jets after securing supplies of main battle tanks last week.
No. The US will not provide F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine, President Joe Biden said on Monday. His comments come after the US and Germany announced plans last week to provide Ukraine with heavy tanks, ending weeks of diplomatic deadlock on the issue. Ukraine's defense minister said he will now push for Western fourth-generation fighter planes, the F-16 included. France and Poland have signalled they are willing to entertain such a request. But when asked about the issue, Biden was categorical.
Will the United States provide F-16s to Ukraine?
No. Biden's remarks could put him at odds with other Western allies. Just hours earlier, French President Emmanuel Macron told reporters in The Hague that, quote, by definition, nothing is excluded when it comes to military assistance. Poland's Prime Minister also did not rule out a possible supply of F in the East as revenge for Ukraine's resistance. Meanwhile, the Kremlin has warned any additional supplies of Western weaponry to Ukraine could escalate the conflict.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is holding a news conference to conclude his two-day visit to Jerusalem and the West Bank.
President Sisi and Foreign Minister Shukri, as well as with Egyptian human rights defenders and young leaders. Among a wide range of issues, in my meetings with the government, we discussed the role Egypt and other neighbors can play in helping Israel and the Palestinians de-escalate, reduce tensions, and lay the foundation for a more peaceful path. Upon arriving in Israel, I expressed my condolences and those of the American people to Israel and to the families of the 7 civilians who were killed in the horrific terrorist attack outside a synagogue in Neve Yaakov. In the wake of this and the subsequent attack on an Israeli father and son, I reaffirmed to Israel and its people the United States' ironclad commitment to Israel's security. A rising tide of violence has resulted in the loss.
NATO will continue to strengthen its partnership with Japan aimed at the ongoing Ukraine war. He met Japan Air Self-Defense Force troops and viewed aircraft and equipment in his visit to the Uruma Air Base in Saitama Prefecture. He said the war in Ukraine matters for all of us and therefore we are also very grateful for the support that Japan is providing using also the planes and cargo capabilities.
In particular, I would like to thank you for the contributions you have made when it comes to providing support to Ukraine, because I know that the cargo plane behind me has been used to transport vital support for Ukraine, and this shows how important the support from Japan to Ukraine.
Embassy of China strongly condemns the terrorist attack at the mosque in Peshawar. China Embassy said in a tweet that we feel deeply grieved and pay our deepest condolence to the families of victims and injured of the tragedy. Hina Rabbani Kar led Pakistan delegation to UN Human Rights Council. UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, in her closing remarks, she noted that Pakistan's human rights progress is overall on an upward trajectory and also expressed Pakistan's continued commitment to human rights.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank member and observer states of the Human Rights Council for their constructive participation during our UPR. Now, as a firm supporter of dialogue on human rights, we value today's substantive exchange and recommendations. And we are truly grateful to all states for their thoughtful contributions. Most of them were very constructive indeed. The UPR mechanism continues, we believe, in Pakistan to serve as a solid platform for meaningful dialogue and engagement. It has helped promote universal respect for human rights. I'm happy to say that we have truly benefited from the UPR process. The recommendations, it is shown by the fact that the recommendations emanating from our last review have galvanized wide-ranging actions in the country.
Distraught relatives thronged hospitals in Pakistan's Peshawar to look for their kin a day after a suicide bombing ripped through a crowded mosque in a heavily fortified area of the city, killing 100 people.
Tuesday, after a suicide bombing ripped through a crowded mosque in a heavily fortified area of the city, killing more than 90 people, most of them policemen. The attack in the Police Lines district follows a surge in violence targeting officers in this restive northwestern city near the Afghan border. No group has claimed responsibility. The rescue operation continues, but workers say hope is now dwindling of finding survivors. Late on Monday, a mass funeral was held with full police honours for some of the victims. At least 170 people were wounded in the blast, which demolished the upper story of the mosque as hundreds of worshippers performed noon prayers. The site is the main place of worship in the district, which houses offices for the police and counter-terrorism units. Authorities say they do not know how the bomber managed to enter the area, which is protected by a series of checkpoints manned by police and military personnel. Defence Minister Khawaja Asif said the bomber was stood at the first row in the prayer hall when he...
The head of the IMF team expressed hope that Pakistan would continue to make progress on reforms in various sectors and complete the IMF program in a timely manner. The head of the IMF team visiting Pakistan expressed hope that Pakistan will continue to make progress on reforms in various sectors and complete the IMF program in a timely manner. A delegation from the International Monetary Fund has started talks in Islamabad on Tuesday to revive the much-needed aid program for Pakistan. The statement issued by Pakistan's Foreign Ministry said that the head of the IMF team said that the IMF and Pakistan will work together on financial reforms. An incident of cyber fraud was occurred in the Parliament of Pakistan, in which a group of fraudsters stole 1.5 million rupees from a person. According to the details, Ali Bhatti, a resident of Islamabad who was affected by cyber fraud, lost 1.5 crore rupees in the name of Jeeto Pakistan prizes. In a meeting of the Senate Standing Committee on the Interior presided over by Senator Mohsin Aziz, the victim said that he was contacted by an unknown phone number on which his prize in the program Jeeto Pakistan aired on a private channel, and cash winners were reported and asked for money through Jazz Cash and other microfinance apps. That's all for now. For more updates, keep watching Desi TV USA or visit our website desitvusa.com.